All right, here we go. Let's see who is ready to join in. Get my settings done. Carter's in his spot. Simon's in his spot. Get the windows closed. All right. Wow. Waiting room. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome, Chitra. Okay. Saw you on the Facebook Live as well a little moment ago. So good to see you here too. Apologies, everyone, about last night. We had I don't actually know why. We had no network, absolutely no network last night. And luckily, we have network today. Welcome, Gina. I see Gina's there. I love your backdrop. How gorgeous is that? That is stunning. So welcome, everyone. We'll just get everyone like a moment or two to settle in before we get cracking with our goal setting workshop. So while we're just giving people maybe another minute or two to arrive, maybe think of something positive that's happened, be it today or in this past week. And you either, since it's just a couple of us now, you can unmute yourself and you can say what it is, or you can just type it into the chat if it's easier to type. Gina, you're unmuted.
I know, but now I've got stage fright.
Love it. There you go. You can use that. Unable to speak.
There we go.
But it has to come from your mouth.
What's the question again? Sorry, I've got lots of background traffic noise. What's the question again?
One win, one positive thing that's happened
I'm
today.
You're here.
We'll celebrate that. Me too.
Yes, indeed.
Hooray
for Wi-Fi.
Great. All right, lovely. All right, anyone else, if you'd like to unmute, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can throw it in the chat. And I think we're on recording. I think we can get cracking. I think I'll share that one. There we go. So for those who don't know me yet, most of you do know me, but for those who don't know me, and Gina will know me from the Yoga Awakening Africa magazine days a few years back. Can you believe that that's what, already over 10, 12, 14 years now of Yoga Awakening Africa having started. So that is a little bit of my background. Started that brand then. Been teaching yoga at the Takai Yoga Studios since 2003, 2004, teaching at the Academy of Yoga and Ayurveda. We started that, I think, in 2014, running teacher trainings. Gina's also someone who I've done yoga retreats with. We did our Knit and Breathe retreats. Nicole's in Austria. We did our Nourish and Restore retreats together. I've done some in Tanzania. So all around. As you can tell, I love to travel. That's a big one. And as you may have noticed in the little Facebook Live, I shared that we've got a new rescue. Simon, he's under my desk here. Unfortunately, it's quite dark, so I can't really show you. He is just tiny little diker. He's too cute. So I've got a vet friend, Paula. She's in Brazil at the moment. And yeah, we try to save and rescue as much wildlife between the two of us, or I suppose between everyone who lives here, that we can. And now living on a farm out here in Mozambique, and busy becoming a yoga health coach. So I'm busy training, and that's why I get to do all of these workshops. So I get to share what I'm learning with you guys. And pretty much the reason why I'm doing it is that we can move from a state of chaos and we can move into rhythm with nature, with the cycles of life, with the seasons, the rhythm of kind of like our own pulsation. And when we do that, we're able to reach a better sense of health, a better sense of vitality, and we're really able to follow our dharma, our purpose in life, which can change as we evolve, as we grow, as we age. But when we understand that, then we really can do those things that we're passionate about. So since my slides haven't changed since last night, it's not what we're going to be discussing this evening, but what we'll be discussing this morning. We'll start up with a little centering practice. Then what we'll touch on are the 3 doshas, and what it means for each of the doshas to be in balance, what it means for each of the doshas to be out of balance, the triggers for those, where you're at now with balance, because it might not necessarily be as part of your constitution that, in other words, it might not be your prakriti, your born constitution that's out of balance. It might be an imbalance that you actually need to maybe focus a little bit more attention on. And what we're going to kind of like address is maybe not quite knowing what goals to set or how to set them. Often we set very unrealistic goals and ones that we haven't achieved in the past that can lead to frustration and being disappointed in ourselves. So we really want to get real about where we are in our lifestyle at the moment and what are realistic goals that we can achieve, but also ones that are just going to push us a little bit more to going that little bit further. So, you know, if you're already kind of walking every day, then, you know, having that as part of your goal is not really going to be pushing you because it's not getting you going anywhere else. What we'll have a look at, I find kind of like the 4 main areas that most of us need a bit of work is we'll try and set a goal in the health department, in our family or our relational department, in our workspace, in our career or hobby. And we'll use kind of like the smart way of doing that. And then I'll give you a bit of insight into the shifting from chaos to rhythm program at the end. And then we'll leave some space for Q&As. So that is how we will kind of progress through this morning. I'm going to try and move as swiftly and succinctly as possible so that we can all get on with our day and really get cracking with our goals. So I invite you now, and you're welcome to switch off your screen. If you want to, you can turn away from your screen. You literally just need to be able to hear my voice. And what we're going to be doing is a centering practice focusing on the gratitude theme. So you might just like to have kind of like that mandala or the colors of that mandala in your mind's eye and your third's eye as we work with this centering practice. So you're going to close your eyes and you're going to observe your breath. Just noticing the breath flowing in and the breath flowing out, and maybe observing others that are in your space or nearby who also have a breath that flows in and out. And maybe just taking a moment to feel a sense of gratitude for that person or that animal or that thing that is nearby. Having a feeling of deep gratitude for yourself and within yourself. Taking a moment to have a sense of gratitude for not just the people and the creatures in your life, but also the events. No matter if they're positive or negative, just a sense of kind of thank you. Thanks for being there. And coming to that realization that it is you who has brought the people, the creatures, and the events into your life. It is what you've manifested. And just taking a moment to think of the type of people and the type of events you're wanting to create in the future, evolve into in the future. Is it that you're wanting to spend more time with positive, uplifting people? Is it that you're wanting to spend more or less time in nature, with animals? What kind of events, activities, workshops are you wanting to be spending more time in, connecting your energy with? And already having a sense of gratitude for all of that having taken place, even if it hasn't taken place, but it's kind of like a gratitude in advance for all of that taking place. So it's as if you've already manifested it. It's already there. And taking another 2 deep breaths. Acknowledging and appreciating that everything is as it is meant to be right now. And that we can move from the space of gratitude and lightness into our workshop. When you're ready, you can rub the palms of your hands together, getting the hands really nice and warm. You can cup them over your eyes, take a deep breath in and slowly out. You can blink your eyes a few times, just getting used to the light as you move your hands away. You're just looking off into the distance or down at the ground, not right at the screen just yet. When you feel that you have landed, that you've arrived, you can return to the space you're in. Lovely. Great. So hopefully that makes us feel a little more kind of present, relaxed, and at ease. Landed in your physical body with your emotional, mental, intuitional, all the 5 koshas, all the 5 sheaths in as part of you as we go through this. All right. So as you probably all know already, the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So Pitta, remember, is the sense of fire, which is just gently surrounded by a little bit of water or mist to contain the fire. Vata is the element of air and ether coming together, creating a lot of space and lightness and movement. And Kapha is the beautiful energy of earth and water coming together. And that kind of really creates a lovely, solid, stable foundation. Remember, we have all 3 of these doshas within us in our constitution. We are born generally with 1, possibly even 2 dominant ones. Sometimes we tridoshic, where it's all even. That's usually quite rare. So just maybe noticing or bringing into cognizance what your dosha is, your main dosha is, as we work through this. And maybe for today, even taking into consideration maybe where a little bit of the imbalance may lie, so that can give us also a little bit more insight into how much further we can push our goals, or maybe how much we need to draw it back. So a quick recap on the doshas. When we chat about Vata, when Vatas are in balance, when we are in balance, we are vibrant, lively. There's a sense of enthusiasm. We're super imaginative, sensitive, and extremely creative. We're the kind of people who can like come up with 101, not just ideas, but brilliant ideas, all of which should be accomplished and done. And this is where the Vatas come unstuck with goal setting, is because they think that there are so many amazing goals to do and to take part in, and they want to do everything. And then at the end of the day, they either don't achieve them or achieve them not to the level that they were hoping. So when we're in balance, there is that lovely space and lightness where there's beautiful vibrancy, enthusiasm. When Vatas go out of balance, and especially like I was saying in our menopause workshop, when we go through this phase of life, the Vata is very easy to get out of balance. And there's a sense of fatigue, restlessness, fear, anxiety. There's a sense of overwhelm. Insomnia is a big one. And we tend to overexert and we feel ungrounded. And a lot of that can lead to excess gas in the body, where there's like bloating and irregular bowel movements, a lot of digestive upset. And that's the Vata. And the best way, the best way to regulate Vata is rest, regularity, and routine. And I'll sound like a broken record whenever I talk about Vata, because that is what it is. Vatas need to literally have a bedtime, that they go to bed, and everything needs to be regular. Their meal times need to be regular. And this is great, especially if you have kids that you know are high in Vata, to get them into routine, even if you don't like routine, is extremely helpful for them. And the same with other members in your family. Even if you may not be Vata, to get others into balance in the long run will end up benefiting you. The Vatas definitely benefit the most from automating the 10 habits of body thrive, the 10 Ayurvedic habits that we chat about. So that is quickly on Vata. Pitta, beautiful. When they are in balance, they are so articulate, they are courageous, they're bold, they're warm, they're loving, they're content, and they enjoy challenges. You probably will resonate with a lot of these, but there's certain ones that you'll probably resonate with just a tad more, because we have all of these qualities in us, because we're made up of all the elements, but certain ones might just kind of trump. When the Pittas are out of balance, there's a sense of anger, irritability, frustration. We snap really, really quickly. And if there's a lot of Vata, a lot of wind, it's very easy, if you've already got high Pitta, for the wind to just, for the Vata to go out of balance and the Pitta to go out of balance really, really fast. We also, or if you're high in Pitta, being a perfectionist is often a big tendency there, and being impatient with others. The way to balance Pitta is to be calm, cool, and collected. That means mentally, physically, and emotionally, which means any practices that are cool and calming is great for you. Going for swims, doing light forms of exercise, lots of meditation, calming breaths. Pittas are often because they enjoy the challenges, they want to go and achieve, but often for them to help balance, they need to pull back a little. So hopefully that has brought a bit of insight. And then Kapha, to reiterate, when it comes to being in balance, they're the ones that are get the least phased about anything. They're the most resilient. They have like a natural resistance to illness. There's a sense of being deeply affectionate, compassionate towards others. They're really relaxed. When you're in their environment, you're able to relax easily, because kind of like their vibe just kind of moves straight into you. They've also got really, really great memory and excellent stamina. So when you go for a hike with the Kapha, they'll be walking slowly, but they won't really need to stop and have water break here and there. They can just kind of plod along and keep going and keep going and keep going. And they're usually the ones who end up like at the top of the mountain first, whereas, everyone has burnt out along the way. That's when Kappa is beautifully in balance. It is a lovely, lovely qualities. And you can tell when someone's got high in Vata, all they crave and all they want is a lot of this earth and water qualities. However, when the Kappa goes out of balance, there's a tendency for attachment. So not just attachment to things, but also within the body. So that's often where weight gain happens, because the body just wants to protect itself. There's a feeling of complacency, greediness, possessiveness. There's a sense of lethargy, depression, and a resistance to change. There's a lack of motivation. And that's just because there's not enough air and ether in the system, not enough lightness to move that stagnation. So Kappas, again, how to balance, get moving and grooving. You want to bring as much lightness into your day as possible. You want to be kind of spontaneous and move more and eat less. Kappas can do really well with intermittent fasting. They don't need to focus on kind of like 3 regular meals like the Vatas do. They can literally do OMADs, 1 meal a day here and there, 1 or 2 meals a day. Kappas, really get into balance a lot more when they're able to move more and eat less. So those are the 3 doshas, just to recap on them quickly. What I've generally found in the past is that often the pittas, they set unrealistic goals and then they want to go balls to the walls to get those goals. The Vatas have too many goals and then aren't really able to achieve. And the Kappas often struggle to know exactly kind of like what goal to set, or not setting ones that are maybe challenging enough to actually kind of get them going. So what I've just said there is kind of like said past versus present, like where are you, what have you noticed in the past when it comes to goals? Have you maybe been in the space where you've not known what type of goals to set? Have you maybe set goals in the past and actually then they've been unrealistic? Have they maybe frazzled out in the past? Have there been too many? So just thinking for yourself kind of like where you are, because that'll already give you an indication what to look at in this workshop. And we're going to literally get straight to it now with our first goal. So hopefully you've got your journal book nearby. And if you don't, you can go grab it quickly. And in there, we're going to start off by coming up with our first goal, which is kind of like a health goal or a lifestyle goal, like a personal goal, maybe a body goal. It might have something to do with wanting to lose weight or put on weight or put on muscle tone. It might have something to do with your meals, reducing snacking, getting into intermittent fasting. It might be something about increasing water or hydrating more, or think of just one that you would like to set. And we're going to use the kind of like the SMART goal way of working. I wonder where, maybe I can put you guys here. That should be better. To setting this goal. So think of the goal that you want to be as one, it needs to be specific. So what is it that you want to do? It also needs to be measurable. So how will you know when you've achieved? So like, for example, weight loss is an easy one. Say you want to lose 5 kgs, it's quite specific. And you'll know you're achieved it because you know what weight you are now and you know what 5 kgs less is. Is it in your power to achieve it? Is it actually something that is with the lifestyle that is happening or going on, or activities that's going on in your life right now? Is the goal that you're planning on setting achievable? If you're traveling a lot or moving around a lot, is the goal you're wanting to put in place really, really achievable? Is it realistic as well? And then we're going to set a time frame for it. So not that all these goals now are going to have to be a year long. Some of them may be 2 years, some of them may be 3 months, some of them may be 6 months, but you're going to think of something, a health goal that you're wanting to set. And I'll give you maybe a minute or two to write some notes, and then we'll take a moment to brainstorm or troubleshoot afterwards. If anyone needs any clarifying questions or has any questions about how to set this health goal, just unmute yourself and ask or type in the chat. Here we go. All right, so with this health goal, does anyone want a little bit of support or help with it, to see or willing to share what their health goal is? If you're wanting some support there.
I'm happy to share.
Cool. Let's go, Jen.
Okay, so last January, I had a massive weight loss goal and I have achieved it, and now I've moved the goalpost because you know, I feel like I could do even better. So I have another 2.6 kilograms that I'd like to lose. And it should actually be about 4.6, but I've decided that I'm going to be a little easier on myself, and I'm going to make it, I want to be 70 kilograms and maintain that 70 kilograms throughout the year. So if I achieve it in the next 3 months, my goal is just to maintain it until the end of the year. Okay, so it sounds like you've got 2 goals. One goal is to lose the 2.6 kgs. And you are saying that you will know that you've achieved that, obviously, when you're at your goal of 70 kgs. Realistically, when do you think you could lose those 2.6 kgs by? Realistically, probably about May. Okay, so your time frame is going to be from 1 May to see if you've achieved that goal. Then from 1 May, your next goal is going to be maintenance, maintaining your weight at that level. Or you might find that you're going to be doing a new goal where it is more that you want to feel more muscle or body strength in there. So that's a whole set of other goals. So I have like yoga goals, and I've got running goals, and I've got meditation goals, and I've got... Okay, perfect. So the weight loss, so with regards to the weight loss, we know that literally by the 1st of May, say that is the idea of what we want to, where we want to go. And then from there on, it's maintenance. Because what happens is if we don't, I think what often happens if we kind of say, okay, like maintenance, then we don't actually push ourselves to lose that last 2.6 because we think we've got the whole year to still lose it. Whereas if we say, okay, this is the ideal weight I want to be by then, I'm going to lose that, and then I'm going to maintain, then the focus is going to be on maintenance. Otherwise, we fluctuate too much. So
It sounds realistic. It sounds like a smart goal, like something is specific. We can definitely measure it. It's achievable in that time frame, realistic and timely. So cool. Well done. Thank you. Excellent. All right. Anyone else want to go through their health goal, or? I see Chitra.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
Can
all
you
right.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So this idea of losing 5Ks has been with me for a long time, but instead of losing it, I think I'm just picking up more and more. The idea of goals also has never ever appealed to me. So I was a bit resistant to this workshop. But then I thought, okay, let me just see, maybe it's something that that could appeal to me, or something that could help, or maybe just another way of looking at things. And I mean, so far from what you've said and what Gina has said, I mean, it sounds like, you perhaps need to have some kind of guideline. How to achieve that is another issue, because there are all kinds of other habits that I have, like the snacking and, perhaps not drinking enough water and all of that. And I don't know, as far as a diet is concerned, what I'm doing wrong, because I'm, I mostly vegetarian. Like 95% of the time.
So Chitra, what is the goal to work towards? Is it to lose 5 kgs? Is that the idea, or that your health goal? What is it that you're thinking you're wanting to address?
Yeah, I think it's the 5Ks, but there's so many other maybe habits that are attached to that.
Okay. So in other words, what you're wanting to do is that you're wanting to lose the 5 kgs. It's like Gina, it's measurable. You've achieved it when you're X weight, and it is something that's achievable because it's in the time frame that you're giving yourself. What is the time frame you're giving yourself to lose that 5 kgs?
I don't give myself time frames, and that's probably an issue as well, because then I don't need to stick to anything, and I can be quite, sort of, just unattached to it. I don't know. It's not unattached, just, I don't feel that pressure. Let's put it that way.
So what would be kind of the middle line where there's a little bit of pressure, but it's not overwhelming for you to lose those 5 kgs? Would it be like 6 months? Would it be 8 months? Would it be 4 months?
I think maybe between 5 and 6 months.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
So you're going to give yourself like 6 months to do that. And what you've been saying is that that hydration is a thing, and that snacking is a thing. So what about looking at addressing snacking? So the focus is not going to be on food per se, kind of like, how much you're eating at meal times. You're going to allow yourself to feel fully nourished at meal times, but you're going to cut out the snacking. So that you're giving the Agni the time to burn through the nourishment you're giving it. And you're going to allow yourself whatever it is you want at meal times, but you're not going to be doing snacking.
Yeah, no, I actually tried it for a few days, like 10 days or so. And it was difficult, the first day or two. And then I started slowly, just trying to adjust to it,
What you'll find about snacking is, because what happens is that with the snacking, you're constantly spiking the blood sugar level. So you constantly have a high, you constantly have a low. So you're constantly eating to get to that blood sugar level. And we all do that.
That's
We've all pretty much grown up with that. There's been a lot of diets nutrition things, where they say, have 6 small meals a day to do. Whereas in Ayurveda, we definitely, 3 main meals is plenty. If you're getting your nourishment in those meals, there's no need for snacking in between, unless you're convalescing, or unless, there is a major illness, or you're a sick child, or whatever the story is. But as adults, we don't need to be eating in between meals. So what you'll find after cutting, those snacks out, after 2-3 days, your blood sugar actually starts to stabilize, because your body now knows exactly when it's getting breakfast, exactly when it's getting lunch, and exactly when it's getting dinner. It's not having to spike every time, because it's now so stressed as to, when it's getting food. So
I can try that. It is like the afternoon by 4 or 5 o'clock, I just feel like I need a cup of tea, and then it's a biscuit, and then it's another biscuit, or, that's how it is. So perhaps I need to do something about that and just eat properly.
Fill that need of what you're wanting at that tea snack time with something that is more nourishing. And I see Mama said healthy snacks, carrot sticks. What we're often craving more than food by putting food in our body is we're craving connection. So sometimes doing something like a yoga nidra or a meditation, or going for a walk in nature, where there's a connection to another aspect of our being. So it's not just that we're physically filling ourselves with food and nourishment, but actually another layer of ourselves is being nurtured. So it might be one of the other koshas that is actually craving for something, but because we're not listening or understanding, we understand so much easier on the physical level, because we're physical beings. But taking ourselves out for a walk, spending time maybe doing, even if it's just a 10-minute yoga nidra, and then having a cup of tea, or like what I like to do is spice water, to be sipping on that. And that often will just tie you over to dinner, especially if you make dinner a lot earlier. So yeah, have a look at the weight loss goal, and it might not actually be a weight loss goal. The SMART goal might actually shift now to the fact that you're going to want to do something specific, like a yoga nidra, which is measurable, 10 minutes, it's achievable, and it's realistic every day at 4 o'clock when the snacking comes in. So you've moved the idea of losing 5 kgs away, but what you're putting in place when you normally snack, because if you know that that's your trigger, is that you're going to do a yoga nidra.
Yeah, no, that sounds reasonable. And I do actually think about those things sometimes, and something else just takes over.
Yeah, exactly. Great, lovely. Thank you for sharing, Chitra. That was great. All right.
Nina.
Great. All right, so let's move on to the next one that I had in mind for us, which I think was a family or relational goal. So again, in the kind of the same vein and the same line, maybe it's a goal that you want for your family. Maybe it's a goal that you want in a relationship that you have, maybe with a person, maybe with a family member, maybe with friends. I'm just trying to see kind of like the tips that I've got here. It might be something more on the line where you're wanting to be more intimate with your partner. Maybe you want to have more open communication with other family members. Maybe it's got to do with planning a family holiday. So just taking a moment to think of what your family or relational goal could be. And then just running through those 5 columns and checking, is it actually really a SMART goal? Is it specific enough that you know exactly what it is that you're wanting to achieve? How can you measure it? And is it realistically achievable in the time frame you're setting for yourself? All right, so I'll give us another minute or two just to brainstorm an idea. Again, these are just ideas that are coming up that you're brainstorming, and you can always finalize them in the next couple of days or after we've completed. All right, does anyone want to go through or touch on maybe what their family or relational goal is, and just making sure that it touches into all these boxes? Not sure if anyone else wants to have a go. Simon.
Okay, so this is a really difficult one for me.
Okay.
Because, you know, I am finding that there are difficulties, but I don't know what goals to set because I don't know if I'm actually clear on what I actually want to achieve. So Stella is now 10 years old, and she's gone from being like a little child, you know, who just wants to be with us and needs to be with us like all the time, to somebody who really wants to spend time with her friends and wants to read and wants to kind of be, you know, more independent within herself. And what I'm finding is that when she's in the house, like even when she's here, like I miss her. So because she's just off doing her own thing. And then, you know, Jeff's in his studio doing his music and whatever. And I'm just like, I'm craving more family time where we're doing stuff together, but I don't know how to achieve that and to make it wonderful for everybody.
Nice. Okay. So what is it that everyone likes doing?
So like it's a 2 out of 3 in most cases. You know, so Jeff and I want to go paddling on the kayak, but Stella doesn't want to go on the kayak. Stella and Jeff want to go rock hopping, but I'm not mad about rock hopping. You know, Stella and I want to like journal and do craft stuff, but Jeff doesn't want to craft with us. So, you know, like there's this you know, it's hard because I want to do stuff all together, or I'd love for, you know, when I'm cooking and Stella's chatting with me, for Jeff to be with us while we do that and not be making music in his studio all on his own. Like I want the time together as a family.
And you're open to realizing that everyone has their own way of seeing how they want to spend time as well.
Yes, of course.
And so how new or difficult or challenging would it be to have like a Sunday evening family meeting where everyone gets one activity for the week that they get to propose that everyone does together one evening a week?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good goal. Yeah.
Because then everyone feels that they get a say, everyone feels like they're included. And if that means that Stella wants to go rock hopping, well, we're just gonna have to get our little frog boots on and kind of, you know, be like, okay, that was that person's choice. I'm going to respect their choice and I'm going to do it because she's chosen it. And it may be a challenge for me, but I'll do the best that I can without causing injury, obviously. But with that, she also needs to realize then this thing that I'm proposing that we do, and try and, you know, keep things fun. Like obviously, I mean, you're a family that does it that way. So yeah, and then you just said, okay, you know, like this is happening on this day at this time, you know, weather permitting. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other evenings you can hang out with your friends, you can do what you want, but these 3 nights or these 3 specific times, we're going to be doing family things for half an hour, whatever is doable. But maybe the SMART goal is making sure that you have a family meeting every Sunday evening. So it's specific. We have a family meeting. Maybe the meeting is all of 5 minutes long, because everyone already knows, apart from the first meeting, everyone knows actually what you're going to be speaking about. So they can already come prepared. It's measurable because, you know, everyone comes with their 3 things that they want to do. It's achievable and it's realistic. And then take it from there. See how it evolves in after a month.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of easy because we always have dinner together as a family at the dinner table. So, you know, I mean, not like, right, we're eating, family meeting, you know, but it can flow into that kind of space. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So see how that goes. That's a nice one. That's a lovely one.
Thanks.
It is. It's lovely to get kids involved as well, so that they, you know, feel included as part of the decision-making process. You know, all age dependent. Nice one. Anyone else want to address a family one, or should we move on to our work? Cool. All right, let's set a work goal. If you're not working, it can be a hobby or a career or something in that line. Maybe it's community work that you're doing. Maybe it's a project you're busy working on. A new business you're wanting to start up. And kind of like with work, depending on, you know, if you're self-employed or if you work with someone, it could be, you know, you're wanting to reach a certain income target, or you're wanting maybe to get an increase. Maybe there's a promotion you're looking for. Maybe there's a new position you're wanting to get to. Maybe if you're running your own thing, it's that you're wanting to employ staff, or that you're wanting to get rid of staff, but choose one work goal. And again, just make sure that as you work with that work goal, that it is specific and measurable. Chitra, have you wanting to say something? I see you.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a goal as far as my work is concerned, because everything is set out for me. I know what to do. Perhaps I just spend too much time on my work.
Okay, so maybe
it's the nature of my work, you know, that, and I think I'm spending too much time. Weekends I'm busy, you know, I'm working almost all the time. Yeah, so I think I need to perhaps just work more efficiently. Yeah, work less. We've kind of just decided that we're not going to set so many tasks for our students. So I'm already thinking about those kinds of practical strategies, you know, to deal with this.
So what could be one easy strategy that you could literally implement from tomorrow, from Monday?
Okay. Well, we're only starting to teach in February, so I don't know. On the one hand, I need to be more organized. I need to know beforehand what it is I'm going to be doing, and also cut down on the number of tasks that I give them, because I give them so many tasks and it just adds to my workload, which is actually not necessary. You know, if I look at other colleagues, they're not doing as much as what I do. So I need to take that perhaps as a guide, because in the end I just get frustrated. There's so many tasks that I've given them, and they haven't handed in everything, and that adds to my frustration.
So it sounds like you're constantly chasing up, that there's too much on, that there's a sense of like overwhelm. So it sounds like there needs to be a lot more structure in place to make things less sporadic, haphazard. So maybe like a simple way to start is to relook at how the coursework that you're putting out there can be similar or the same for most of the modules, so that there's a start date, an end date, a hand-in date, and making sure that they are not overlapping. So it might be more of a sense of getting calendar integrity and making sure that everything is in its little box where it's meant to be before working with the students in February. So having a sense of organization.
Yes,
a strong structure.
And that's always been difficult for me, because I work so sporadically, as you say. I'll just set a very tentative date for an assignment, but I don't then use that date because I have 3 other tasks, around about that time.
So I think calendar integrity will be a big one to help you on the way. Whereas,
in fact, I've resisted that. Other colleagues have said we should have this calendar at the beginning of the year and put the dates in for all our assignments so that everybody's aware of the full picture. And I've always resisted that idea.
Well, the thing is, like, if you look at the SMART goal, if you know that you're starting at the 1st of February, you know that your timeline is the 31st or the 30th of January. So the goal for you now is very, very specific in get your calendar as structured as possible. It's measurable because you can see that nothing is allowed to be overlapped, because that is what causes you overwhelm. And make sure that it is achievable and realistic. So if that means you need to get help from someone who's better at calendar organization than you, to come over one afternoon and to sit with you and literally put things in boxes so that timelessly you can reach it by the 30th of January when you want to have it done, that would be it. And then at least, especially for us with High Vata, when we have those structures in place, we can actually relax and breathe, and there's less stress and worry.
There's always stress and worry in this scenario.
And what we want to do is reduce it, because it's not necessary. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be there. All right.
Okay, so I've actually never thought about this before. I just go into it. I go into my year totally unplanned, unprepared, and just take each day as it comes.
When we've got a plan in place, and it often sounds counterintuitive and like not yoga-like, but when we've got the structures in place, when we know what is happening when and how, when we have those structures set, it is a lot less stressful for us because we know exactly what's happening when. It's like when we were chatting about the eating rhythm, same kind of thing. When we know that, between 9 and 10, now is the workshop, and that I'm going to be doing X work or X project or X and Y, then you've got creativity in that space to allow ideas and things to come up. But if you don't actually create that container, that structure, and we often are like that with our students, if we're not the container, the structure for our students, they can't grow and evolve because, they don't know where to get the information from. You've got to offer them a solid container for the information that they're wanting. And the same as, with the work that we're doing. If we've got solid structure in place, a lot more creativity can flow in our day because we know exactly during these time block out periods is when I'm working on the things. I'm creating enough free time in my day for other spontaneous things to happen where I can create, or I can use the creativity for creative projects or creative thought processes. But the day-to-day structure of how to maybe run a business, I don't need creativity there. I really don't need creativity when I'm doing my accounts and, getting my spreadsheets together. It's just a mundane thing that needs to get done. But it needs to be structured and there needs to be a time. When I at least know that it's blocked out, it's completed, it's done, then I've got freedom for the rest of the day or the next time slot to maybe be creative with an article that I want to be putting together or writing, or a blog post or a social media. But if I haven't structured my day so that certain things are happening at certain times, that overwhelm comes because I know that there's so much to do and I'm giving my freedom to do it whenever I want, but I'm not actually doing it because there's no...
No, it's actually, you've explained it well. Yeah. Because the structure feels like it's pressure, and then you feel, oh, you've got the time. You don't even feel you've got the time, but you don't make the time for what is important, actually.
Exactly. That's so true. And like I was saying, you can like, if you don't make the time to do the important things, you don't actually have time to do the creative things of what it is you're wanting to do. So definitely. And then I'm going to leave you guys to kind of play with and come up with a career goal or a hobby goal or something that is a little bit more fun, maybe something that you're wanting to move in line with doing. Like, how can you build or evolve your career? And for some, it might be, like, or what it's sounding like for Chitra, like she's needing a little bit of assistance in her work environment with business organization. So finding a friend or someone who can help with that. And that might, also kind of fit in a little with this career goal, learning about something that is going to move you forward. Let's see what I have with career. So it might be something that you're wanting or needing to specifically study. Might be something simple like, starting a book club. Maybe you've always wanted to start a book club, or your passion project, or to grow a project that you've been working on, and kind of writing a little goal about that. So while you kind of contemplate and mull over your career goal, a lot of the work that I've been doing, I said I'd share a little bit about kind of my program, Shifting from Chaos to Rhythm. And this is kind of where when I started working with my career goal, it kind of shifted into a work goal. I wanted to learn more about personal health, Ayurveda, personal growth. So that's when I embarked on my 2-year yoga health coach training with Kate and learned about the 10 habits of Body Thrive. And those are what I'm now using in my program called Shifting from Chaos to Rhythm. And the idea again is to, bring us back into rhythm with ourselves, with nature, with the environment. And the first round that I've been running is coming to an end. It's a year-long program, but kind of like the first 3 months is slowly coming to an end. And my participants who are in there, Andy and Ronald, they're absolutely loving it. It's fabulous because I think they're loving it more than I anticipated. And the fact that you're in a group where you're all working with the same goals. And I think that's why kind of when I bring up like the career and the hobby, it's so important that you're in a group that supports the same kind of goals and dreams and desires that you're wanting, where you're wanting to get to. The reason why is that when, if you're wanting to run, if you're in a running group, you're more likely to run. If you're knitting and you're with knitting people, you're more likely to knit. If you're in a group with people who are wanting to evolve their habits and to do yoga and to meditate and to do these things, to be in a group that with people that do those things naturally, automatically, or are wanting to automate them, and to do it in a fun way is a lot easier. So again, getting into rhythm, when we find our groove, it's like we were saying with Chitra, everything just gets smooth flowing. We need to have these little boxes, kind of like the 10 habits are like these little boxes. They form the structure. And when we get those automated and we know how they work, there's so much more freedom and lightness and creativity, spontaneity in our day for us to have those feelings in the right areas for the right projects. And like I was saying, it takes away decision fatigue. I think that's the big thing. When we know that, at this time, we're going to be doing this, we're going to meditate, or we're going to be eating at this time, we're going to be wearing this. We don't have to keep making a decision every 5 seconds. It's, do I want to have, a bar of chocolate to eat, or a packet of chips, or a carrot stick? If you know that you're not snacking, there's no decision to be made. If you know that, you're having your kitchery and steamed vegetables at 12 o'clock at lunch, done and dusted. You don't need to worry about food and thinking about food and whatnot through the rest of the morning. And that feeling of not having decision fatigue is really, really great, so that we can really have the time to focus mentally on the work and the activity that we need. So there's still plenty of time. My next kind of part of my pilot is starting on Monday, the 7th of March. So I've got 8 spaces. So if anyone is thinking that this is something that they want to possibly join in, then you can definitely message me and we can chat. I'm not taking just anyone into my groups, and it sounds a little rude, but because we've got such a nice group formed, I really want to make sure it's people who are wanting to do the work and to get kind of results, like wanting to work with the habits in a group. We're not perfect, that's why we're in the group, to do it, but we're wanting to work with habit evolution in the sense that small little steps to get from A to B, and you all know how to get hold of me, so that's nothing new. So that's pretty much a little bit about shifting from chaos to rhythm and our goal setting. Hopefully we've managed to kind of look at our goals so that they're a little bit more specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, so that we don't get into that feeling of being like overwhelmed, that our goals are maybe a little too easy. We're going to just really start simple with 1 or 2. And then as we kind of achieve them, like we were chatting with Gina right at the beginning, after X amount of time that you've set for a goal, then you kind of like create a new one from there, or build onto that one from there, so that we don't like have a goal that runs from like the 1st of January till the 31st of December. We're really going to shift them so that they're suitable for our needs. And I shall leave you with that. I will stay on for a few more Q&As if anyone has any ahas or anything they would like to add, or another question they have. I've got about another 10 minutes I can stay on. So if you need to dash off, by all means, please do so. We've already gone past 10 o'clock, so I do want to respect your time as well.
Oh, shit. Hello.
Chitra, how are you doing?
Okay, how are you? Just 1 minute. I just want to.
Okay, sort out.
Here we go. Just mute. All right. All right. Hold on, Chitra. You're muted still.
Okay, so I'm just sort of looking at the goals that I've set, and like I have lists of work goals, but just sort of breaking it down for work, can a goal be to have achieved 12 individual months of higher focus and productivity?
If you're specific every month with what you're wanting to achieve, like
Yes.
if you've got like a profit, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's kind of, because I'm writing everything down and I'm trying to structure and streamline everything so that I have a balance, because in the last year I've really cut out an hour a day to exercise, which is something that I'd never done before, and I have achieved that goal and I'm maintaining that goal. So now I feel, I want to add more meditation and yoga time, for example, but I want to do the same kind of thing with my work goals, where I go, right, now I've achieved a certain level of focus and productivity on a weekly and monthly basis. I can check that off on those goals so that I can see the progress throughout the year.
Have you read the book, The 12-Week Year?
No.
Okay, it's a great one. I can't think of the guy's name who's done it. It's called The 12-Week Year. And pretty much what he says is that the goals that you have for the year, he pretty much works with SMART goals as well, but you should be able to achieve it within a quarter, within 12 weeks. Because very often, like you're saying, we're not putting structures in place and we allowing the sense of excess time to make it less urgent at present. And he just goes into like literally, you should be able to achieve what you want to achieve in 12 weeks and make sure that they are realistic. And so with regards to you and your work, that might be really helpful just to have a read through his book and the work that he does. It's not a long read. It's not difficult. I'm sure you can get it like on Kindle or Amazon as well quite easily. But kind of getting that calendar integrity in as well was perfect. And like you're saying, when you have that, then you can also look, okay, which are the months where there's a little bit too much happening, people's birthdays, we're planning family holidays, and does what I'm able to achieve need to change a little in that month, particularly because I won't have that time available and I'm not taking it away from my personal, my personal health goals that I'm, that's going to be priority, then that needs to stay priority no matter with what else is going on.
Because I'm finding, I told you about my bullet journal briefly last night, and I've broken it down. So I've got like a monthly calendar and then I've got my goals for the week. So like this week's goals were like start bullet journal, which I can tick off, and start a temperature blanket. So, that's a creative goal, and finish threading my weaving. So that was very achievable. And then, I'm sitting going, do I feel really lazy? What am I? No, that's on my list for this week. Let me go and tick that off. So I'm finding the lists incredibly motivating in order to help me get to those weekly goals, because I've also set like January goals. So like a January goal is to run 1 10 kilometer. So this week's goal was to run an 8K, and next week another 8K, and then the following week a 9K, and then by the end of the month I can run a 10K.
The way you're breaking this down is absolutely perfect. And that's why you'll really enjoy the 12-week year, because that's exactly how he does it. And it might just give it a bit more structure and clarity with regards to where you're at. So perfect, keep it going. The one thing I'm going to add, and that's what you guys may want to do, is the work that I've been recently working on. The name will come to me. The book is called The Gaps and the Gains. And literally, I've literally got a tiny little journal like this. And then the evenings before I go to bed, I literally just jot down 3 gains from the day. So anything positive that happened, and it's only 3. I'm not allowed to put down like all 10 or all 50 amazing things that's happened. I have to choose like the 3 main ones gains. Because often what happens is, we have a day where shit hits the fan and we think it's crap, and there've been no gains in that day. And actually they have been, and we've just got to kind of look for the silver lining. So what we want to do is literally, we just write down 3 bullet points of 3 amazing things or gains that have happened that day. And then we write down 3 things that we want to achieve the next day. So it might be, okay, it's going to be, the 8K run. It's going to be sitting in meditation, and it's going to be doing my accounts for work. And the reason why you want to do this, like literally just before going to bed, is once you've written the 3 things that you've achieved, you're already in a positive mindset before you go to sleep. Then when you write down the 3 things of what you want to achieve the next day, subconsciously, when you're sleeping, you're already putting those things into motion. So the next day when you wake up, you don't actually have to think like, what am I going to be doing? It's already there on your little notepad, and okay, well, I need to sit now to meditate, or I need to put those running shoes on and I need to go, or I need to put my timer on and, spend 2 hours, bulleting out my accounts or whatever it is. So the work with the gaps and the gains, again, it's a short book that you can read if you've got time, if you're into books. And the work with that is fabulous. Literally grab a little journal, write down the day. My 3 from yesterday was like collect Simon, which is the diker. I did a habit email that went out, and I postponed my call. Like that was my gain, because we had no internet. So my gain was postponing the call and being okay with it. And then the kind of like the 3 things that I put down was the Facebook live call that I do, this workshop, and finding time to do my 10-minute meditation. So it's now nearly 10:15. Tick, tick, tick. All 3 things that I wanted to do done, because I did my meditation first thing this morning, which was on my list, because I know if I don't do it,
Yeah. And I think, something really important for me is I get things done when I write things down. And I always think that I can keep things in my head and that I'm going to remember and all that kind of thing. And that's why this book is so, so important. And it's going to be my absolute, I want it to be my Bible this year, where I just, and I love the bullet journal concept, because you can just create new pages, and it's not set like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's not set, like this is this week and that week. You can just add like a whole page for Nina's goal setting workshop, and it's in there.
Yeah. Brilliant. And that's the thing, that's where you want to start, and that in itself could even be like a SMART goal, in the fact that the goal is to look at your journal every day. And it's something that's realistic, it's something that's achievable, timely, every day. And kind of like, how do you know that it's kind of like it's been achievable, in the sense that, okay, I'm actually ticking off what I'm wanting to do in there. So it's an actionable activity as well. So awesome. Very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
I see, hopefully my mom's been inspired, and Shay, I see you here as well. Hopefully there was some inspiration for you too. And then obviously this is going to be recorded, so whoever watches the recording, hopefully they've had some inspiration as well. All right, guys. Any other last comments?
Thank you so much, Nina. This
You're
is
welcome.
like really, really amazing. And thanks for your time and for your inspirations and everything. It's really very much appreciated.
You are more than welcome. You're more than welcome. I love doing this. I could talk all day long, but I'm going to stop now. Shay, you're welcome. Lots of love, guys. Take care and have a fabulous weekend. Cheers.